Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. My guest today is the owner of CrossFit ATI in downtown Danville. He is a young father of a beautiful baby girl husband, and he's a man that I connected with recently and just instantly could see who he was, for the person he was, for the person he's trying to be, for the things he's adding to our community. I instantly knew that it was, again, a guy I wanted to talk to and dig in more deeply with. And he was very, very awesome and came and sat and chatted with me, and just hearing about his story and again, who he is and what he brings to our community. It was a fantastic time, hopefully a first to many. But without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, Ivan from CrossFit ATI in Danville. I know you say you're ready, but I don't know.
I'm always ready.
I don't know if you're actually ready. Cheers, buddy. Thank you for coming.
No, thanks for having me, dude. This is awesome.
Yeah, man. A good time. I'm excited that you could make it in. So you did what I still think is probably the most impossible feat, which is to make it through COVID and have a baby in the middle of it. You're a small business owner. You're an immigrant. Actually, no, you're a U.S. citizen, right?
Yes.
You were born in the U.S., grew up in Mexico.
We'll probably go back a little farther, tell my story a little bit about this. But real fast, you can continue your question here, right? I was born here, but at 2 years old, the family moved to Mexico, and I lived until 17.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then I moved out, and then we'll talk about that later. But yeah.
So you have this business. You have CrossFit ATI in the middle of downtown Danville. Beautiful spot. Beautiful facilities. Things are going great. 2020, you're like, this is going to be my year. It's the year of Ivan.
That's exactly what I said. You're like, quote an Ivan. January 2020. This is it, man.
I know, because I was saying the same thing. I was like, so your wife is pregnant. And you're like, this is it, baby. I'm going to have my first kid. I'm in love. I got a beautiful wife. You guys share this business together, which is, by the way, I did that with my wife. It is no small feat to be in business with a spouse and not kill each other. So you're navigating all of this stuff. You're like, I got it. And then COVID hits. You have a baby. Your business gets shut down. Your family probably can't fly in to help you with a kid. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Like I thought
my parents haven't even met my kid.
I thought I had it bad, Ivan. Like, I cry myself to sleep just feeling bad for myself. And then I met you and I was like, oh, you need to shut up, Matt.
Shut up, Matt.
How did you do that?
Dude, you know what? I'm gonna backtrack a little bit, and I'm gonna tell a little bit about how I grew up. I grew up and my parents are Jehovah's Witness, and I grew up in a very strict household.
Did I make any Jehovah's Witness jokes at training yet?
Not that I remember.
Okay, great. You didn't hear them then.
If you
okay,
do,
great.
I don't really care. Don't worry about it.
If you didn't know yet, I'm a terrible person, so just kick me if I do. Keep going.
So I grew up in a household where my dad was always very strict. This is the way that it would. Me as a teenager, for example, right? 13, 14, like, I'll sit on the couch, turn the TV on, and I hear my dad pull up, and I'll fucking turn the TV off, run, and pretend I'm doing something. Because there is no way my dad will be okay with me sitting doing nothing, right? I mean, and to a degree, I think that it's not completely the right thing to do. I think there's a lot of things that my dad did that I'll probably, change myself, try to be better as much as possible. But at the same time, though, he made me who I am. And one of the things that he did was just make me a tough as shit. I would just work all the time. I'm okay with working hard, right? When things got hard, I never slow down. It's almost the opposite, right? Things got hard, and I had to pedal harder. You know what I mean? So with COVID, yeah, you're right. I mean, 2020 hit, and I was excited. Here we go. My wife is pregnant. She had a tough pregnancy, but I was like, you know what? She'll get through it. I'll help as much as I can. We knew that the baby was due in July, and excited, and we there was things that we were gonna do, right? In my head, I have all these ideas, all these like goals, right? And then March hits, and check this out though. March hits, and Actually, it was like okay after the beginning. I was like, "Whoa, this is kind of crazy, right?" But okay, 2 weeks, we're gonna get in lockdown for 2 weeks. Remember, everybody's like, 2 weeks. Oh yeah, let's stay home for 2 weeks. No problem.
Everybody thought it was like a party for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Everybody was like,
weeks,
you know what?
no
We get a
problem.
2-week vacation. This is nice, right?
Right.
2 weeks.
You're
go
telling
by.
everybody just do push-ups. We'll be good. We'll be right back at
Guys,
it.
you know, enjoy your family. Stay home. Let's all be safe, right?
Love your family. Be with your loved ones. You remember
2 weeks.
everybody was saying that. Love your family. Oh my God.
2 weeks go by. 4 weeks go by. 2 months go by, and I'm like, okay, this is getting real. What? I mean, what am I gonna do? The overhead is huge. I mean, we're right in downtown, right?
You guys
Our
have a
overhead-
tremendous spot. It's beautiful.
Our spot is great. When I found it a long time ago, I thought I hit the jackpot. I was like, this is great. It's big enough, and downtown Danville is amazing. There was a Taekwondo school in that spot before, so I didn't have to find, because Danville has this thing where like you have to be zoned, right?
Yes.
Danville's kind of dumb about like where you can open this and you can open that. It's a little silly, but
It's
the
very
area there-
it's very managed and planned.
exactly.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
downtown, there's no way you can come in downtown and open a fitness studio. Just the way it is, right? You have to find the right location. And I got lucky because the guy that was in that spot before me was a Taekwondo school, right? So I was able to just kind of move in into the same. This is the way it works.
The same usage.
Yeah, if you would have left and the building stays empty for, I think it's 30 or 60 days, then it would have gone 100% to retail. So the landlord couldn't rent that as front of the gym. It would have to be retail, right?
Gotcha.
But I was able to move in right away, so I got lucky with that. But at the same time, though, the real estate is it's expensive here, right?
Right.
So I knew I was going to pay a lot of money, but I was like, you know what, I can do this. And the first few months was crazy, right? It was just, open a brand new business, overhead is insane, but we made it, right? But when COVID hit, we were in a great spot, right? I mean, we're going into 2020 in a good spot. The business is doing great. We're doing awesome, right? And then this hits, of course. I mean, everything goes through your head, right? I was thinking, okay, what are we gonna do? If this goes for longer, is everybody canceling their membership? Are we gonna have to close? I mean, you have to go through all this stuff, right? I mean, I'm a very positive person, but at the same time, you have to be realistic. You gotta be okay. So what if we got to think about all that stuff, right? And then we have a kid on the way, so it was definitely a little stressful. But dude, this is the way I live, right? And some people might not agree with this, but I don't like to live with a plan B. There's no fucking plan B, right? I live with one plan, and I make it happen, right? It might be tough. It might be hard. I might go through, like, headaches, stress. I feel like I haven't slept for the past 13 months.
Yeah, right.
But, you know what I mean? Like, if you have a plan B, then if the plan B is in the back of your head, you're going to get distracted. You know what I mean? But if you don't have a plan B and your only option is to make it work and make it happen, you're going to make it happen.
Here's something that I've thought about though over the last year. This is the only time in my life where I was talking to a good friend just the other day. I'm like, my life used to be, in my mind, a meritocracy. Okay, so I would earn everything I got.
Yeah.
I never expected that. And I believed firmly, look, you work harder and you get more. You work less, you get less. And I still think that's true, but the landscape of the world changed in 2020. And if you were a small business owner that had to be inside or having some kind of interaction with your clientele, it was almost like, oh, it doesn't matter how hard you work now. In my situation, the tests were getting canceled.
Yep.
And it was like, look, no, and I was not advocating for people to just prep anyway. And hey, you know, I always told people, look, we don't know if the test is going to get canceled. If you do decide to prep and you want to go forward with it and it gets canceled, I'll take care of you 100%. Don't worry. But if you don't and you think it's not a great idea, fantastic too. Avoid doing prep. Because, I mean, that's the honest answer, right? Yeah. But it became very clear where it's like, hey, hard work doesn't really matter anymore because the world is changing and it's completely out of your control and you can work as hard as you want. But if the SAT is not getting held in May 2020 or June 2020, it doesn't matter what you do. Yeah. Did you go through that kind of process or kind of stall at all in your stuff? Because you have kind of a similar, but like you have to be around your clients if you're going to get it going.
For us to make money or stay in business, we have to, it's a personal service, right? Whether we teach a class, I teach a class, or I do a personal training session, or I do a nutrition session, right? We talk to nutrition, we talk about planning, because I do anywhere from like, you know, a fitness plan a accountability. I'm an accountability coach too. I have a couple clients that are remote that I check in every month, every 2 months to figure out what they're doing, how they're doing, talk about all this stuff, right?
Keep them on track, keep them focused.
Yeah. So everything is it's one-on-one, right? I mean, 99% of our business was through the doors. Like people come and see us for personal training or a group class, right?
Right.
And so yeah, of course. I mean, we couldn't do any of that. Literally, and then the thing is this too. It's like I didn't know anything about Zoom. Like I never did a Zoom class before.
I didn't have a Zoom account until March 12th because I was starting March 13th.
Nobody did. Nobody did.
Zoom 2020 was like Zoom's year, right? They are living their best life.
Oh, dude. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, we were not prepared at all. Like you said, all the hard work that I did, the 7 years that I was open before 2020, did not matter when you get to 2020, right? I mean, in terms of like, yes, I grew the business enough to be able to survive, I guess, because I do have to say, I got to thank all our members that stay with us and support, because we have a ton of members that they stayed. We know everybody stayed, and I totally understand. I didn't expect for all the members to pay their fees and their dues when we're not offering a service, or we're not offering the same service, because we jump into like Zoom and online programming and online classes right away, but it's not the same, right? We even loan all our equipment. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but I spent the first month driving all around downtown in Danville, delivering rowers, barbells. The gym was empty for months because we gave all our members that were paying a membership, some sort of equipment to be able to follow a program online from home.
Wow. Dude, that's genius. God,
I mean, what is my equipment doing for me in the gym? Just sitting there accumulating dust. It's not doing nothing, right? Someone's like, look, yeah. Some people might say like, well, it's a risk. What if they don't take care of it? What? Look, that kind of stuff is, I can replace the equipment, right? If I lose my members, my business is gone, right? So we're gonna do whatever we can to keep the business open, right? So thanks to all our members that sticked around. We have members that pay their dues, no questions asked, didn't ask for anything, from the day that we close till today. And some of them most of them have come back. A lot of them haven't come back yet, and they still pay. They look at the workouts. They try to do them from home. But that's the only reason why we stayed open. I mean, there's no way.
You say that you were focusing on. You're like, look, the only way we can stay open is if we do this. And I actually, from what you tell me and what I've seen, it's not really focused on keeping the business open. It's focused on adding value to people's lives.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Like, because the value comes first, and then the business stays.
Yeah.
But it was value-centered from the beginning.
So check this out, though. The reason why I opened the business in the first place was because I love fitness. And I believe that health and fitness makes people better and happier, right? So if I could do this for free, if I didn't have to charge, and I can open a gym and just welcome everybody to come in and get healthier and fitter, I will do it.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So when this happened, yeah, of course, we live out of it too. I pay my bills from the business, right? But one of the biggest concerns I had was, we have members, dude. I know members. I can put a big list of members that come to us, and we're a big part of their life. Like if they lose us, they go through it's a big deal. You know what I mean? Like people come to us to like keep their sanity, mental health. We have members that have lost a ton of weight. We got members that have like got off medications, and I can't imagine not being able to continue their journey and their health and fitness without us, right? Or having to find somewhere else to do it, or somebody new to work with, right? So in between me having to, or wanting to keep the business alive for me and my family, and then thinking about all these members that are like counting on us for their health and fitness and their mental health, I can't just quit. There's so many people, not just my family, that is counting on us, to stay healthy. I can't just be like, screw it, it's too hard, I'm not gonna do this, right? No, I gotta push through it. I gotta work hard, because there's a lot of people that count on me, right? So that's what got us through COVID, right? I mean, we're still going through it. We're still outside, but But we did what we had to do. Even the setup outside, you've seen it. I mean, I could have simply be like, oh, we're just going to put some mats on the floor, and then when it's raining, we'll cancel classes. But no, I'm going to be like, when it's raining, that's the worst days to stay at home, right?
Right.
I need to get the setup, nice enough so people can actually come and work out and stay healthy. Because working out and being around people that are healthy and they share the same values, it's the most important thing you can do in your life, right? If you socialize with people that are like, crappy and bad, that's what you're going to end up being, right? But you socialize with people that are actually healthier and they're trying to do the same hit the same goals you're trying to hit, then you're gonna be healthier, you're gonna be better, feel better, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to create at the gym, right?
Yeah, there through like the 70s and 80s, and
I wasn't around, by the way. Just
no, you're young and you're short. Okay, so this is the thing. Through that, let's just say 80s. I was around in the 80s, and my parents were around then, obviously, and I've talked to people about this. The emphasis towards health and fitness was not. Like we were going through the low fat phase, right?
Yeah.
Where everybody was like, if you want to be healthy, take the skin off chicken, only eat chicken breasts, like no low fat, eat your Honey Nut Cheerios, that's heart healthy. All of these things. The food pyramid was whack, right? And then in the 90s there came this shift, right? In the 80s, when you're working out, you had like the headband on and like the sweatsuit, and you just looked like an idiot, right? And you obviously had some real fitness icons, but it wasn't that people really valued the culture of fitness, right? And then you had this kind of shift in the 90s where all of a sudden people started feeling like it was a privilege to be able to work out instead of like this arduous grind, like, my doctor said, walk 30 minutes 3 times a week, blah, blah. And Rodney Dangerfield had a funny joke about that. He was saying that, his doctor told him to, like, it doesn't matter. But the point is, you have this shift. And then in the early 2000s, people really started getting into it. I met this gym owner, Stephen Kwong. He owned this big, huge gym in El Cerrito, very similar to like the original CrossFit gym, right? No, so not as much Olympic lifting and stuff, but huge circuits, 45 minutes, and just boom, boom, boom. And we were very good friends. And I asked him, I said, Steve, how are you doing this? Because he had gone to Cal. He was actually a headhunter.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was a recruiter for these high tech firms and everything. He made all this money in .com and then lost it all and just randomly went into fitness. He didn't come from an athletic background, but he and his wife made this business. And he said, this is the thing. Yes, we are in the health business, but the health business is more a therapy business. And I was like, what? Because I was too young. 100%. I was like 23. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I just got out of college. I'm like, dude, I pull on an oar. That's not therapy. Yeah. It's torture. And his emphasis at the time, and again, I didn't understand, was that he had built a community like you, and people came to that community. They relied on that community for, fitness. Yes, you get off medications, but it's people. You see the people, you talk to the people. It's like this 1 hour break in your day where you have a human connection. And that's why it's so different than just a gym membership.
Exactly. That's what was so hard for people to get through 2020 to COVID, right? Because, I mean, you take that interaction from people, and let me just say this. I think that 2020 showed us that we need people more than we thought we did. You know what I mean?
1,000%.
We need people. Like, we need each other. We're a specimen that needs each other. Like, we thrive when we actually talk and relate and do share ideas and do business and just have all the people around. You can't achieve much. I'm gonna dare to say anything if you're alone. Right. It's possible. But if you have people around you, there's a lot that your chances to achieve things it's greater. Anywhere from like business to health to personal goals, it's so much better. It's just the way we are, right?
Yeah,
so,
the community aspect of it, I think you're 100% right. Like, I think when we lost our connections, everybody within a couple months realized, oh, wait, I did have a community. Like, if you asked me at the beginning of 2020 what my big communities were, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I go jiu-jitsu. I got friends there. No big deal. Or like, yeah, I see my students. I joke around with them. But like, nah. If you had asked me to rank community and interpersonal connection,
Yeah.
like really rank it on a hierarchy, I would be like, yeah, I mean, look, it's top 10. You know, if I couldn't go jiu-jitsu, I'd probably, you know, work out some other way, you know, no big deal.
Yeah.
But it very quickly became, oh no, you're not even human anymore. Like, you've lost your connection to people. You've lost your community. You've lost the people that would cry to you. You cried to them, and you guys laugh and you effort. And the value, I think that now, the value that people see in that now is so much greater than at the beginning of last year.
Dude, I think 2020, even though the COVID of 2020 was, you can look at it as one of the worst, right? I actually see it, and you might think I'm a little crazy. Some people might think I'm a little crazy. I actually see it as the best year for me because it taught me so much. You become more successful and you become a better person through failures and struggle. If you never struggle and you have no failures, there's no way for you to grow, right? There's no a lot of room for you to grow and get better. So 2020 made me realize that there was two things happening. One, I was taking a lot of things for granted. A lot. I was taking from family to business to friends. I was, like you were saying, right? You don't realize until you don't have it anymore, right?
It's so cliche, but it's so true.
It is. It's totally true. And then with the business, the business was doing great, right? It was doing really good. So I got comfortable. And when you get comfortable, being comfortable, nothing good comes out of being comfortable, right? That's why people don't lose the weight. That's why people stay overweight and they don't achieve their fitness. Oh, I've been working out for 3 years and I look the same. Yeah, because you don't get outside your comfort zone, right? You go to the gym and jump on the treadmill for like 30 minutes and you walk there, and then after that you get on a machine and, you know, put some weight that feels like you might be doing something, and you do that every single day. You're comfortable. You're not changing, right? How do you change? For example, if you look at some of the videos from, like, you know, talking about fitness, right? Mm-hmm. Arnold, some of those big 70s, you know, 80s big bodybuilders, right? They were all about like pain and getting uncomfortable, and that's how they change their body, right? And it relates to everything. 2019, I got way too comfortable. 2020 hit, oh shit. Reality hit, right? And I realized that I should never let myself get comfortable, right? I should always be ambitious, and I should always get myself a little uncomfortable to be able to get better and improve, right? So even though 2020 was a tough year, I think I grew up more on the year of 2020 than the past like 5 years because of what it did to me, right? I mean, it literally grabbed me, it tossed me in the ground and stomped on me a few times, and then it spit on me, right? And what did I do? I had two options. If one option was I just quit and stay down there, and the second option was like stand up, shake it off, and push forward, right?
Right.
Who are you going to be, right? You can see that a lot in people. Like people that were not willing to push through pain and suffering a little bit, right? Their business is closed. Their relationships fell apart, right? I mean, you see it left and right. But the people that were willing to suffer and be like, you know what? The more you poke the bear, right? The more you poke me, the more you hurt me, the more I'm going to push back, are the ones that survive, are the people that actually were able to get through it, right? And we're still going through it, but we can kind of see the daylight, right? We can kind of see the end of it, and things are going to get better from now. But that's just the reality, you know? And that's what happened to me in 2020. I learned a lot, in every single aspect of my life, from business to relationships, family, financial, personal goals, fitness goals, everything.
Right. Yeah, Steve, again, my friend with the gym, he told me at 23, almost that exact thing, that he's like, look, you got to realize, because I was young, again, I was going, and I had started my little tutoring business, you know, I was like doing these one-on-one things, and he said, look, you got to remember as you're going through this, that the vast majority of real positive change comes from a major problem. And I was like, what? So he was still working as a recruiter, all these things, and he and his wife knew they wanted to make the shift, so they got the personal trainer's license, and they were doing like 5 a.m. personal fitness appointments. They'd drive to people's houses, you know, be there doing it, and then they'd go to work. And then they'd get off work, and they were holding a little class in their backyard from like 5 to 6, and then 6 to 7, right? And they did it really right. They had great mats, they had great weights, and again, just hustling. This guy, was such a grinder. He knew the value of just working. So what happened with him is they were doing really well, and they got very comfortable. It was a tough schedule, but they were like, it's working, we're getting there. We'll open up something eventually. And their neighbors complained because there were these cars pulling up to their house every day at like 5 and 6. And so the city shut their backyard gym down, and they realized, they're like, all right, look, if we want to keep this going, we got to get a spot. And if we want to get a spot, we can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. We got to quit our jobs. So they were looking at these incredibly comfortable, totally capable jobs that they were providing for them, and they had to walk in. And my buddy Steve walks in and says, "I gotta go." They're like, "What, Steve? You're our number one recruiter." He's like, "I gotta go." They said, "What are you gonna do?" And he said, "I think I'm gonna get into the fitness business." And they laughed at him, wrote him a $20,000 check, and said, "Come back whenever you're ready." And so he leaves. He calls his wife, Maya. She's like, "Oh, my God, babe, how'd it go?" He says, "They laughed at me and then gave me $20,000. Let's go open the place." So they open up the gym and crush.
Dude, you hear that all the time. You hear that happen all the time.
Yes. The only reason I started classrooms was because for one-on-one, I was booked up a year in advance. So I'd have these repeat clients that I loved, families I loved, kids I loved. They'd call and say, "Got to get a spot." I was like, "I'm sorry, man." They said, "The test isn't for 6 months." I said, "I know, but it's too late." And so I grudgingly opened this small little class. And again, it's still the same size, just 6 kids, but it totally exploded.
Yeah.
Because of the experience.
Exactly. And, there's this really cliche saying that we hear all the time, and we tell, you hear in movies, right, and everything. It's like, don't never let anybody tell you can't do something right. It's like,
so cliche.
Don't never let anybody tell you can't do something right.
Especially not yourself.
That's right.
Like, what's that line from Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness? Don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Not even me.
That's another movie I love.
It's a great one.
Great movie.
God bless Will Smith.
Dude. But it's true, though. The problem is this, though. Through your life, from when you're little till the day, there's going to be people that don't know you to family members. They're always going to say, "Oh, dude, you're wasting your time. Oh, it's not, no, I think you should just play safe. Just, you just do this, all the time. You hear all the time. And there's a reason. There's so many people out there with so much potential, but they just don't have the guts to do it.
Look, but hang on. I don't mean to get too personal. Do you have siblings?
I have a brother. Yeah.
I have a brother. Your brother ever tell you what you're doing is a bad idea? Don't answer that. Listen. I was thinking about this just today. Okay, I was digging these holes. We're getting a little dog and making a little potty spot in the backyard. So I'm digging these holes to make. It doesn't matter. I'm doing a project in my backyard. So I got this wrecking bar and I'm slamming in the dirt. And I just think about stuff as I'm doing that. I get into a rhythm.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. People that you're closest to have a vested interest. It's almost like their personal perception of themselves depends on limiting you to some degree. Because, hang with me, you may have very special family members, people may be out there saying like, no, my dad or my mom or my brother, they're my biggest support. Good. That's wonderful. But I think more times than not, most people can identify one person in their life who has equal or greater potential.
Yeah.
Okay, in my life, I have very close family members that had equal or greater potential than me. Right? I was like the dumb kid growing up in my family. And again, I'm not even. My brother has like a PhD in neuroscience from Princeton. Like he's really, really bright. And I'm not necessarily talking about my brother, but the point is that here's the thing. If somebody knows they have potential, and for whatever reason they're scared or they're lazy or they whatever, they can't realize that potential, it's in their best interest to make sure that those closest to them, those most similar to them, those that they let in, emotionally, also don't shoot to the moon. Because then if it's kind of like, if we can all sit around and say, dude, the world sucks. This is really tough. Damn it, man. And we can look at these external forces, the world around us, and say the world around us is keeping both of us down, Ivan. Isn't that terrible? And Ivan looks at me and is like, yeah, Matt, that sucks. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a lot better than me saying the world is so unfair. It's so terrible. It's keeping me down. And you're running like a marathon around me. You're like, never bothered me. Right?
Exactly.
Like, what do you mean it never bothered you? You're like, I don't know. I gotta go. I'm busy. I got these things I gotta do. So people, for their own safety, people closest to you will make sure that you got a little extra weight on your back. You got a little extra doubt because they need to.
And this is going back to what I said earlier. You have to hang out. You have to keep the relationships that are not that. Mm-hmm. The ones that are positive. The ones that are actually like. Actually going to build you up and push you forward, right? As hard as it is sometimes to stay away or get rid of the relationships that actually are holding you back and they're not, supporting, they're not being, positive. Sometimes you have to. It's just the way it is. And don't get me wrong. For example, I'll give you an example. Like, let's say, your brother, right? Your brother was telling you, Matt, you shouldn't do your own business. I don't think it's a good idea, man. You should just, go get a job with the degree you have.
Get
a
job.
Just go get a job. Just go make money for somebody else. You make somebody else rich. You're not, it's your brother, right? You're not going to cut him out of your life and be like, see ya, never going to see you again. But what you need to do is you need to like limit the time you spend with that person, right? Hey, it's your family. I go visit. Awesome. I love you guys and everything. I'm enjoying the weekend. Peace out. I'm gone. Right? And then you go back and spend 80% of your time with people that are going to be like-minded, right? People like you.
Lifting you up.
Exactly. Because the problem is that if you relate with people that are negative and they're not in the same mindset you are, you're gonna end up, either just slowing down so much that you never achieve anything, or even just go completely backwards.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The idea that you have to limit or cut out the negative people from your life. I used to laugh at that when I was in my 20s. There's this hilarious realtor show, like Millionaire. I can't remember. It's like Realtors of Hollywood or something. And there's this one guy who was just Chad. Chad was his name. And Chad had like perfect hair and everything.
Of course he did.
Yeah, he was funny, man. And they were like L.A., Hollywood, not Maui. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is they had this real estate all over the place. And Chad was like, I can't have any negativity in my life, because he had gotten into a tiff with one of the other realtors. Surprise. Yeah. But here's the thing. I was thinking about that again, that concept, cutting out negative people, because in my life recently, very similar to you, 2020, tough, horrible, but man, the volume got turned up. It was like, okay, you can't do this. We're going to pivot. We got this project. We got this project. Boom, 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 boom. So I started going really fast. Just moving really fast, working very hard, managing time like crazy. And I started realizing that statement is really true if you're driving 100 miles down the freeway. If you're going slow, if you're going like 45 and somebody's like, tells you, I can't handle any distraction. And you're like, man, we're going 45 miles down the road. Who cares? This is nothing. But that's somebody who's moving really fast. You realize once you need the most out of yourself. Once you need the most thought, you need the most effort, you need the most energy. All of those things, that's when you can't have any of the BS. That's when you can't surround yourself with people that just suck this life away from you.
Yeah. But check this out, though. That you got to be realistic, too. I tell people, and I made a post on my Instagram, which I'm really bad at social media. But I made a post a while back.
You got the face for radio, not social media.
So I made a post a while back, and I was like, I'm going to screw it. I'm going to be honest with people. I'm going to be like, hold on, I need to
crack that baby
open. For this one, I need another.
There it is. Oh, there it was.
So I made a post not long ago, and I said, hey, look, you might be somebody that needs to hear this right now. Life sucks, and life is hard, and nobody's going to come and save you. There's nobody that's going to come and save you and do anything for you, right? The day you realize that, is the day that you're going to be able to start moving forward. Right? So talking about positivity and negativity, right? Like, yeah, I'm going to relate myself with people that are positive and they're like-minded, right? But you can run away from negativity. It's going to be there all the time. There's bad people everywhere. There's negative people everywhere, right?
This lady downstairs, I was driving out of the parking lot one day, not driving fast or anything, and this Amazon truck, perpendicular to me, coming around the building, pulls right in front of me. I have to slam on my brakes. I'm not offended. I'm not bothered. It's just, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
As the Amazon truck passes, there's a woman directly in front of me. She's smoking a cigarette over by her car. Instantaneously, I look up, and she's looking at me, and she starts pointing at me and mouthing, "That's on you. That was you." I was like, what? And I just thought about it. I'm like, I'm not upset. You know, the Amazon truck didn't see me. I didn't see him. Neither of us are in the wrong. You know, there's a blind turn.
Yeah.
We're just coming around this corner, and she was like, like barking at me, almost like I had this exchange with her. And I was leaving the parking lot like, man, you just got to let that go. You drive at 100 miles an hour. That's
Exactly.
That's somebody in hell right now.
Exactly. Dude, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, and that's what I mean. I feel like I needed to say it. For some reason, I can't remember. For some reason, I wanted to share that with people and be like, look, life is not easy. Don't look for the easy way out, because there's not, right? And the day that you realize that, you're going to be able to start moving forward. It's there's going to be days that you're going to feel great. That's awesome, right? Take advantage of that day. Enjoy it. Take it with you. Awesome. Because tomorrow might fucking suck. You know what I mean? And it's just the way it is. But that's the beauty of life. That's what makes us better. That's what makes us human. You know what I mean? I like to look at negativity, and I like to look at tough times, and I like to look at 2020 and COVID-19, right? As the fire that is going to just make me even bigger, right? Either it's going to burn me to the ground, or it's going to just feed me more, to just be hungry for more, right? Be hungry to do better. Be hungry for like building better relationships. Some of the things that I realized that I wasn't doing great, or I wasn't just doing it all, right? Okay, let's go, let's do it, right? That's just the way that it should be. And that's what separates the good from the great, right? You know, I'm gonna give you a little story here from my life. I left home at 17. I moved from Mexico, the city that I grew up in, West Querétaro, to Vancouver, Canada, by myself. I just left. I had some money saved, told my dad I want to leave. I just wanted to like do my thing, explore. My dad was like, you can leave, but I'm not giving you shit. So just I left, right? I didn't know any English, by the way. Zero. Nothing. The minimum, right? Maybe I knew the colors, or maybe I knew like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The minimum, right?
You know, I knew you learned English in Canada because I think you said something like Zed, or like you used
a lot, a lot.
You used a distinctly Canadian phrase. One of my best friends is Canadian. I'm like, hey, I got that. I think I heard you say jam instead of jelly too. I don't know. Keep going.
Maybe I still have a little bit of it, but so I moved at 17. I moved from Mexico to Canada, and then I was there for about 6 months, maybe a little more. And on month 1, I remember the day. I can't remember exactly the date, but I remember the day I went to the store to buy just. At the time, I wasn't huge in fitness yet. I played soccer for a long time, and that's kind of my background. That's how I started with
Sports
being active
and
in
stuff,
sports and stuff, right? But it's still like nobody taught me really much about nutrition and how to do things right. So I went to the store. I think I was gonna buy like milk and bread, right? I go to the counter, and fucking Canadians are so friendly. They're so fucking friendly, right? So I go to the counter, not expecting to talk to anybody.
You were expecting to come into California?
I was expecting to just go to the counter, pay, and leave, right?
Yeah,
and this
bro.
guy starts talking to me, and I did not understand a word he said. And I felt so, until the day I say it, I feel chills. I remember I looked at him, and I was like, I couldn't communicate. And the guy was so nice to me. He was like, oh, all good, good. I paid and left. And I left feeling so, what's the word? I felt so... I don't know what word to use for this, but I felt so small. I just felt so hopeless.
Like humbled.
Dude. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way. So the first thing I did was I walk home, I grabbed my phone, and I searched for English school. I enrolled to the first one. I didn't even know if it was good or bad. I didn't care. I just needed to enroll to English school that it was nearby. I didn't have a car, so I walked to there. I lived in Vancouver, I lived in Hummer Nelson in downtown Vancouver, so I was able to walk a few, maybe a couple miles to it. So I enrolled to it. I was going once a week, and I started doing that. I got lucky, and I met a girl in the same building that from Alberta, Canada. She was there for school. She was super nice. Couldn't even communicate that well, but she was like super nice to me. She kind of took me out and introduced me to the friends, and I started like just getting myself uncomfortable. Going back to the same thing that I talked earlier, getting myself being okay with being uncomfortable, and that's what started to get me like out there and started to learn a little more. But that was that day that I remember that I walked into that place and I didn't know any English, right? And I had to learn, right? You just have to get yourself into those uncomfortable situations to be able to like get ahead and do better, right? But long story short, I left. I was there for 6 months. I started to learn English, and eventually I ran out of money. Of course, I only had like a vacation visa there, so I had to leave. I was legal there, right? So I was like, okay, I can't work here. I have no more money. I gotta do something. So I was born in California. I was born in Hammond, California. And I was like, okay, I can go to California, work for a little bit, make some money, and then I wanted to go to England because I wanted to play soccer over there. Young kid, big dreams, right? Big dreams. So I came here, and of course, I first moved to San Jose, was there for probably 3 months. I got a job in San Ramon, a landscaping job. I was like doing landscaping from freaking 6 in the morning until 3 p.m. Either was it 105 degrees or raining, we were out there, right? That was my first job when I came here. I was like, I don't care what I do, I need to make some money, right? Eventually, I realized I was commuting from there. I didn't have a car, so I had to take bus, and walk and whatever. Right? I didn't. But eventually, I was like, I can't do this forever. So I did it for 3 months. I ended up like moving to San Ramon, and then and little by little, I started to just like I got a second job, I got a third job. There was a time where I have 3 jobs at the same time, and then little by little, I started just getting myself ahead and doing better and better. My English got better, till even when I met my wife, 8 years ago. When I first opened the business, my English still sucked. It was bad. But, what I'm trying to say with all my story here is that till the day that I left home was one of the best days of my life. Because if I would have stayed home, I was too comfortable, right? I was messing around with friends. My dad would give me some money. I was playing a lot of soccer, right? It was like, I was too comfortable, right, as a kid. When I left, things got tough. Things got rough. And that's what made me actually do better, right? That's what actually forced me. Like with struggle, right? Through struggle, there's adaptation, right? Like I struggled so much since I left home that I adapt to that struggle, right? And it made that struggle actually become part of my life, right? In a positive way. Like it actually made me just do better and better and better. So that's why I go back to 2020. 2020 sucked. And you can look at it like, oh man, that year sucked. It was really bad. But for me, as hard as it was, dude, it was the best thing that could happen to me. Because it just made me that much better. It made me want to do better. It made me want to it reminded me to when I left home and I did not know English and I didn't have money to pay anything. When I came to California, I had to there was a time, remember, that I could only afford rice and fucking bread because I had to pay my bills and it was expensive, right? And I was still trying to pay for some schooling. I tried to enroll to DVC for a little bit, and I tried to I still had some school classes that I was going to, and that I knew I'd eventually learned that I wanted to do fitness. So I invested in a trainer to figure out what they do, and then after that I invested in my certification, then after that I invested in a second one, right? So to be able to afford all that stuff and still pay for my rent and for my bills and everything, right, I had to keep my expenses down. And how do I do that? By eating the cheapest food I can find, right? So but if I go back and I look at my life story, right, there's always some sort of struggle. There's always some sort of a difficult time, right? And I feel like that's what 2020 taught me when it happened, right? That prior to 2020, I got a little too comfortable, right? I was able to get myself ahead. And even though there was still some things that I was trying to achieve and do and everything, right? I mean, 2019 was better than the rest of the years. So I got too comfortable, right? So I like to look back and remind myself of I'm proud of where I am and I'm proud of what I've done, and even though I still want to go a lot farther and I want to provide for my family and my daughter now that it's I want to give her the best life possible, right? I definitely believe and think that one of the best things you can do for yourself is put yourself through struggle in a lot of different ways. Don't never let yourself get comfortable. Being comfortable does nothing for you. You know what I mean?
Man, I'm kind of regretting inviting you on here because I feel so horrible about my life. Let's get back to your 3 jobs. Were you working landscaping and then like a night job and a weekend job?
So I had 3 jobs at a time, and there was that's the most jobs I have the back like in once like at the same time, right? But I was doing landscaping from 6 to 3, and then the days that I was doing that, I was working at a Mexican restaurant buzzing tables from if I'm not wrong, I think it was from 5 to close, which used to close. I mean, we had to clean, so we had the restaurant would close at like 9, I think, and we had to stay there until like probably 11. And then the days that I didn't do that, which was the weekends and the mornings, I go to Home Depot and start open at Home Depot from 5 in the morning till same thing till like about with my 8 hours, and then after that I go back to the restaurant. So the restaurant I worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the busy days, right? And that was at night. The landscaping job I worked Monday through Friday. My weekends were off, and then at Home Depot I worked pretty much from like whatever they give me. Sometimes I remember my it's funny, my manager still works there when I go to Home Depot. He's the best guy. He's awesome. His name is Bobby.
Shout out Bobby. Santa Monica Home Depot.
Bobby, this is like dude, great, awesome guy. I'm trying to remember where he's from. He has a strong accent. He's this like jacked, big, like bull black dude. He's like just like fucking jacked, and he's awesome. I love him. He's great. Every time I go, he's like, Ivan, what's up? What's going on, man? But even sometimes he knew that I wanted to work. He knew that I was like, if I want something done right, and I want somebody that is like gonna be like reliable, I'm gonna call Ivan, right? Every job I had, I always did the best I could. Like I never like to do anything half-assed. So even on some days that there'll be like staff, low staff, he'll come and be like, hey Ivan, we need somebody overnight for like restocking. Are you free? I'm like, yes, I'll take the job, because I needed the money, right? So that time was rough because I was working so much, and then every single little time I had free, I would work out. But I didn't have a wife, I didn't have 2 dogs, I didn't have a daughter, I didn't have a business to run, right? So that was my life. That was what I did for a while. Those 3 jobs, even though I'm not ashamed of what I've done. I'm not ashamed of the jobs that I had, and I've done anything you can imagine. I worked.
Ashamed? Are you crazy? I cleaned bathrooms when I was in college. That was one of my jobs. I cleaned the boathouse, right? And so people would show up for rowing practice, and I'd be on my hands and knees mopping the bathroom. I'm not ashamed.
No, exactly.
Here's something. God, your story is. I have somebody very close to me. Okay, that he and I would argue very frequently about the ability to change our futures, to change our lives. And he had, like I was saying earlier, he had a vested interest in trying to convince me that the world was out to get us, and that, nothing that people really did could change things. And when I started my tutoring, my wife and I give her credit, worked like dogs. I mean, we worked every single day. Our weekends, Saturday and Sunday, we would start work at 8 a.m. and end at 10 p.m. both days. Okay, now how we convinced students to meet with us at 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, I have no idea. But they were like, when can we meet? I'm like, this is the only spot. They're like, great. So we'd, go to their house and work. And then, again, Monday through Friday, right? So there was never, ever a day off. And they were not even easy days. We're talking hard days, some of those days. And my wife actually we had this conversation. I think I was like 27 at the time, and we had worked like that for about 3 years. I was still going strong, and it was not like it didn't affect us. We were kind of coming apart at the seams, but we were going through a financial crisis, and we're not going to let up now and fall apart. And I remember her coming to me. I give her credit for this because she said we had this very long honest conversation about how she just needed to take a day off. And so she really had to take, I think it was like Saturday or Friday off. And she was really upset about it. She was just like, look, I can't do this. I need a personal day. Yeah. And we were self-employed, right? It's not like we had bosses. We were just, we were on a mission. But we very much believed, it was like we were working 2 jobs, hard jobs, not like landscaping, but hard. I mean, we were just taxed. If you do math problems or teach grammar rules for 14, 15 hours straight, and the last person you see, you have to be as fresh as the first person you see.
Exactly.
Like if you go to somebody's house,
totally
8:30 on a Sunday,
sure.
You got to be happy. You got to, hey, how are you? How was your day? Oh, awesome. Yeah. No, let's get to it. I was home. And again, that's a little exaggerated, but.
No, but you're right. I want you to continue, but I told myself when my wife and I talk about it, the trainers that I have in the past, some of the employees that I have in the past, I told them it's like your job or our job when people come through the door is for them to look at you and think that you're having the best day of your life. It doesn't matter what's going on. Like, people don't know what I go through, like a home with a kid, with a family. Like, my parents live in Texas, right? Like, we don't see them that often. We had a baby. I mean, everybody that had a baby knows that it's a pretty stressful time, right? Babies don't sleep that well. Like, they cry after the first baby. You don't know what the fuck to do, right?
Under the best circumstances, it's stressful. Best circumstances.
We had our baby, and I'm not joking you. I want to say right now, 5 days later, but it was probably less. I was back at the gym working. And I don't think I slept for the first freaking month. I don't know. I can't even remember now. I feel like everything's a blur now. But you know what I mean? You show up to work, and when you have a job like you do and I do, when we actually interact with people personally, you have to treat everybody, no matter what it is, if it's your first client or your last one, the same way. Because they're showing up and they're expecting for that to be one of the best moments of their day, right? If somebody comes to the gym and is going to come and see me at 7 p.m. when I start at 4:45, which is my first client at 4:45, my last one is at 7. My guy at 7, he might had a long day at work. Maybe when he left work, he went home and for some reason had an argument with his wife, right, or her husband. So when he comes to the gym, he wants to forget about everything, right? Imagine if I show up and I'm like in a bad mood. I'm like, ugh, today sucks. I really want to just go home. No.
I really just want to go home. He's like, wait, aren't I paying you?
No, that's not my job, right? My job, it doesn't matter if I had a tough day. It doesn't matter if I had an argument with the neighbors. It doesn't matter if somebody hit me, right? My client shows up to the gym, and my job is to make his day, or that hour, the best hour of his day.
Right.
That's my mentality. That's my job, right? That's what I do. And that's exactly what you do too.
I think you're overplaying because, again, I'll take a little liberty with making a couple assumptions here, but I think you're overplaying the concept of the job in your life. And what I mean by that is I agree with you. And I have students. Some people ask me, this one girl was in here a lot. Her name was Catherine, right? And she was in for SATs, and then she was in for essays and stuff. And she was doing extra stuff on the side. And it was great. And whenever I have a makeup day, right? Every Wednesday I have this makeup class. And if students miss something on the weekend, then I say, hey, no problem. Come to the makeup class. It's not an extra charge or anything. Just come. If I have extra seats in that, I always say, hey, if I got an extra seat, fill it up. Somebody wants to come in, get free classes, extra classes, come in. I mean, it's not like that extra seat's going to do me any good.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So Catherine was coming in and getting extra classes. So again, she got to know me pretty well over this like 4 or 5 month span. And she said something towards the end that stuck with me. She's like, I've never seen you have a bad day.
I heard that before.
And here is the thing. I thought about that, and I realized that I think she was concerned in the moment that I had actually been faking who I was. Huh. Because she was really sensitive. She's like, how can you always be happy, right? Or how can you always be on point? And I don't pull punches when I'm in class. I'm myself. And I told her really quickly, I'm like, Catherine, it's not that every day for me is great. It's that this job is not really a job for me. If I've had a bad day, I still get to come here and be with you guys. I get to be myself. Like if I'm helping somebody do a math problem, that makes my day better. You don't understand. Like this, I need you guys as much as you need me. So it's not that I haven't, like sometimes I get tired, sure. But if I'm in a bad mood when I come to class, man, all it takes is one joke with one student.
Dude,
baby, I'm back.
You know what?
I'm back.
And this is I relate so much to you with this because this is what tells me that you love what you do. Because the thing is earlier...
That's my point. It's not a job for you
Exactly.
necessarily.
Earlier I said, if I could do what I do for free, I would do it.
Right.
I would do it. I mean, one of my dreams, and I call it a dream, but I don't even like to call it that kind of stuff, right? It's not a dream. You can make anything happen. But one of the things that I wanted before I opened the gym, I was like, I'm gonna be so successful that one day I'm gonna open a gym in a community that needs it, and it's gonna be free for all. I'm gonna just have all this kids that can afford it. I'm gonna have this like families that can't afford it to come in and have a community where they can stay away from drugs, and stay away from trouble, and be healthier. Right now, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that ever. Right? I don't know. Maybe one day, maybe not. But this tells you that this is what I love to do. Right? I mean, even though I'm an entrepreneur by heart, and I actually have other goals and other things that I want to do on the entrepreneur side of things, where like I would love to own a second business. Doesn't have to be fitness. Something else could be great. Eventually, I want to see if I can invest in real estate. Right. Some of the goals that I have from 10 years from now. Right. I always gonna have a passion for health and fitness because I just believe in it. I believe in what I do, and I love to. Oh, and you probably see me in class, man. Like sometimes I talk too much. I just love to talk. I like to talk to people. I if I can socialize all day long every day, I will do it. That's just who I am. I mean, I don't know why. It's just, it gives me a lot of joy. Being able to talk to somebody and have somebody, smile, have somebody
engage
in
interaction.
What makes
by the way,
day,
just to be clear, I haven't seen you talk too much in class.
Okay,
Just like, just from my standpoint, I'm good.
Okay, good. But what makes my day sometimes is I see somebody, and I'm really good at reading people. Like somebody will come in, and I can tell that something's off, right? Something's off. It doesn't matter what it is. It's not in my business. It's not my business to ask, hey, what's going on? What's wrong with you, right? That's not what I'm gonna do. But then right away, my goal is to be like, that person needs to leave here with a different look.
Yes.
With a different posture. Does that make sense? So when I make that happen, when somebody comes to the class and I can tell there's something off, whether they I don't know what will happen, and they leave and it just looks like a different person, it makes my day. It's great. And then the other day it was randomly we finished class, and one of our members in the gym, he's been there for a long time, Jerry, he said, "Hey Ivan, thank you so much for everything you do. This is great." Dude, things like that make my day. It's like, it reminds you of like the reason why you do things. Sometimes it's hard. It's not easy, right? Yeah. But people appreciate it. You know, sometimes people don't say it. People have a hard time actually expressing what they feel. But there's what we do, right? Your job, my job are really similar in terms of like we're trying to make people better, and not just on fitness or on their test, but just I want to make people the best human being they can be, right? Right.
You don't, I mean, that to me really, again, solidifies my suspicion initially that you don't really view it that much like a job. Like if you can take somebody's day from bad to better, that's a win in your life. It's not like you made more money by making somebody happier, right? You could have just punched the clock, given the workout. And this actually, it's sad and good, but this a student passed away at one of the high schools a few months back, and this class I had was starting just a couple days later. So first session, I had never met these kids. The first class is notoriously difficult because students come in, they don't know me, and their parents signed them up for like stupid SAT prep. They're like, come on, man. And especially if students are not in a great mind space, like tragedy like that, they're obviously, I guarantee you at least half the kids were like, let's reschedule, let's kick it back. But the kids decided to come, and the mom got a hold of me beforehand. She said, hey, look, just so you know, this is what has happened. And I've heard things about it because I've never met this mom. She said, I've heard things about you. Can you just do whatever it is you do with these kids tonight? She was like, make a TikTok. And I'm like, oh no. You've seen some of my TikToks, because I made these like ridiculous TikToks with students over like SAT words and stuff. And she's like, look, I've never seen them. I don't know you, but I know what people say about you. So just do that. I went so hard on that class. I went so, like, it was so ridiculous, the stuff and again, we got work done. Everybody left and was, they were better off. We got through the material we needed to, and again, like, I drained a coffee right beforehand. I'm like, it is game time. But again, just drilled into the kids, laughing, making fun of this guy. They're making fun of me, going back and forth, saying these crazy things. And the mom immediately got a hold of me afterwards. She was like, dude, you nailed it. I don't know what you did, but you nailed it. And that to me was so much better than a math problem. It was I would have done that class for free.
Yeah.
To see 6 kids walk in, kind of holding their head lows and then walking out, smiles on their face. They all took hoodies. Nobody takes hoodies on the first day because they think it's weird.
Yeah.
Second day, they always take them. Everybody took them on the first day. They were happy. They were like, yes. And again, yeah, that's the type of thing, your idea of having a gym where you could do it for free. I had the beginning of 2020, right? This is going to be the year of Matt, right?
This is it, man.
Beginning of 2020, I was actually talking to my wife. I said, look, I think we actually have to find a bigger spot. She was like, why? You got your classroom. It's fine. I was like, I know. But I actually want to make a spot where my students can come not during class. Like, I want to have a 1,500 square foot spot where I have my classroom where I'm doing my work, but then I have a library area where people can come do group projects. I have like a theater area.
Whenever they need to, they can come and do their thing. Yeah.
Right. I had these visions of having like a big old TV from Costco, and everybody has Bluetooth headphones so they can play games. They can play like Fortnite and stuff after school, having like a swipe-in card like you're getting into a hotel. So, and it's only my students, so it's only kids I know, but having a place where they can come after school. I was going to do bi-weekly like Saturday night movie nights. Nice. So people that didn't have things like they don't want to go out and drink, they don't want to do whatever, they have this better experience where it's like, no, we're doing movie night, or we're doing Mario Kart, or we're doing something. So that kind of idea, almost exactly what you're saying, having that for the community. 2020 crushed that one for now. But yes.
They just put a pause in it.
Just a little pause.
You know what I mean?
Just a little apostrophe. Yeah. So that kind of thing to me, and I see it play out with you. You seem so, it's like you lose yourself in the training. You lose yourself in the moment with people. You lose yourself in the workouts, and everybody comes through happier. That's the community that I feel there.
Exactly. And you know what? And it's actually challenging because we're in the situation that we're right now, which is we're outside, and you still get people that are like still kind of weird about things, right? And like, don't look at me too hard because I might get COVID, right? Like, don't wave at me too hard because you know what I mean. So you still get a little bit of that, which I get. I understand, right? Everybody's in different spots with it. Right?
You did a great job spacing everyone. You don't have to be close to anyone there.
Exactly.
You still get the workout.
I thought when we did the setup outside, I needed to think about everything, right? Everything. How can I still run the community the same way that I want to run it? I want to keep the community tight where people can still talk to each other and feel like you're in that class, but keep everybody safe with COVID and all that stuff, right? And I think that it's as hard as it is to make it work, we did a good job. I did a good job on like trying to make that happen, right? But I can't wait to go back inside, and just for one reason though, right? The reason why is the community aspect of it, right? So having people out there is great, it's fine, right? People come work out, they want to stay healthy and everything, but inside there's something about, it's like when people come to here to the kids come here to do their studying and what you guys do, right? They can do it at home, or you guys might be able to meet at the park one day, but there's something about this space, right? Something about that fridge right there. There's something about that TV. Right. You know what I mean? There's something about what you have created in your space that is so special.
You step outside. You step into a different place.
Yeah.
Right? This is actually a very interesting concept. When you're in your gym, you're not thinking that 12 inches on the other side of the wall, there's a hairdresser. Yes. Right? Like, you can't conceptualize the hairdresser. Yeah. You're not thinking that above you is a roof somewhere with sun shining on it. You can't see the roof. You don't think about the roof. You don't think. When you're in that gym, you're just thinking about that universe. And so literally when you go inside away from people And again, it's not like people stop and stare, but you see people walk by. You see,
It's a little bit different.
It's a little different, and it's fine for me. Like, I don't care at all. And again, we're charging on ahead. But there's an intimacy and a connection and hey, we're all in this different world together right now.
Exactly.
And then you get it done and you walk out through the doors and you're like, I'm coming back to the other world that I also have to exist in.
That's one of the things that I took it for granted. I realized when we didn't have it anymore, right? Like the physical place where people walk through the doors and it's almost like you get this like just superpower. You know, I mean, you walk through the doors, you get this superpower, right? And you can take the mask off and be yourself and just like go hard, sweat hard, just feel good about yourself. And then you leave the doors and you put the mask back on, right? Like a superhero. And people don't know what you did. People don't know that you just did 100 burpees in there and you got fitter, but you feel it. You know inside that you just left and did something, right? There's something about that I miss that I can't wait to have it again. And I know that the first month or so is going to be a little different.
Touch and go.
Because,
touch and go.
Some people might be like, oh, okay, we're going inside, right? What's going to happen, right? But I'm excited. I can't wait for that. Even though everything's working great now, and it's good. We made it work. I can't wait for you to see it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool, and I'm excited for it.
There's an aspect of, and sorry to cut you off.
No.
There is an aspect of the community you have built that is unique in all the sports I've done so far, right? So when I was a swimmer, I was a water polo player, I was a wrestler in high school, so I did those three. I didn't interact with girl athletes that much, okay? Because, again, obviously swimming, heads down, very individual sport. And water polo, you're not playing against girls, right? And wrestling, I think we had like 2 girls on the team, but I didn't wrestle with the girls, right? And it's not like I'm sexist. There was nobody that was 180 pounds that was a girl, right?
Yeah, you had to wrestle with people that were like your level,
exactly.
Right? Your size, yeah.
Then I was a rower in college, right? And again, we didn't row with the girls. That's just not something we did. We didn't work out with them. We didn't row with them. It was
sucker for me. I always played with boys and girls had their teams.
And that's it. Jiu-jitsu, similar thing. Right now, again, there are some women, when they're there, I'll train with them, but I'm not really training with, like, I'm 190 pounds right now. I'm not really training with the 16-year-old.
And you're a black belt, too.
That doesn't matter. My point is, now it's an interesting dynamic, because when we're doing these workouts and I look up and I see, some of the moms or the women, and they are putting in the effort, like they're doing the push-ups, they're doing the V-ups, they're on their jump ropes and they're sweating, and like somebody will smile at you and you can see that they're going through it as you're going through it. There's a connection there that I have never had with, and these are, moms, older women. It's like I would have never thought that doing these workouts outside and like looking over and seeing these people, it's an exchange in an athletic environment that I've never had.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful, because you're like, yes, you're awesome. And I always want to say, hey, how are you? Like, I'm so happy to see them, because I know they're going to lay it down too. It's so cool to be around.
Dude, that's the beauty about I want to say CrossFit, because that's what we do, right? But you can create the same kind of environment.
You can have a weird CrossFit gym, bro. It's not about CrossFit. It's a community thing. It's your spot.
But I'm saying the cool thing about what we've done there, and the CrossFit gym that we have there, is that's exactly what you're talking about. You come to the doors, right? Doesn't matter if you're 20 or you're 60 or you're like small, tall. Like, it doesn't matter. Right, we're all suffering the same way. You go to the same workout and you relate to each other. Like, you can actually relate to a like you were saying, maybe a kid that is in high school but that he loves it. Right, maybe we have a girl that just joined long ago. Her name is oh my God, really, Charlie. She's great. Teenager. She's 16. She's super committed. She plays lacrosse. She shows up sometimes twice a day, right? And she's going through it. She's never done CrossFit before, but she's going through it. And she's talking to Jackie that has 4 kids and 2 dogs, and they're going through the same. You know what I mean?
And Jackie's still laying it down,
and they talk
doing
to
the
each other
pull-ups.
like, "Oh my God, that was super hard. Yeah, the pulls were hard for me. Oh my God, the burpees were the worst, right?"
Yeah.
And it's like, it's even, you know what I mean? You have that relationship with everybody there that it just makes it. You come in, you're there for an hour. You did some damage in a good way, right? and you can have that community where they have the support. And I love it because people leave and they're like, all right, Matt, see you tomorrow, man. You're like, fuck, now I gotta show up tomorrow, right? You know what I mean? It's like, you don't get that when you go to the gym on your own. Like, you go to the gym, what do? You waste your time for an hour, and then nobody's waiting for you. Nobody cares if you show up or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the most important thing. If you, and you see it in a few different, sports and what you do. I'm sure when you were, hopefully you get to do jiu-jitsu back, right? Because I want to come and try with you. But you same thing. You leave the gym and your buddies will be like, all right, see you, Matt. We'll see you next time, right? I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you Tuesday, whatever it is. And now you have that accountability, right? You have that support, not just from your coaches or from your mentor, which is your trainer, or whoever's teaching you, right, the ropes, but you have your fellow athletes, right? Your fellow trainers, your fellow, classmates, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and jiu-jitsu is even more so because you physically can't do it alone.
Exactly.
It's not even accountability like, you got to come, I got to come. It's like, hey, when are we training? Because I'm not training if you're not training. So, having that reliance on people.
And this is going back to like, what time is it? An hour ago we talked about this. It's like, we need people, man. People is so important. We need people. Right? Without each other, without people, we're not, the potential is not going to shine.
I had a really dark moment about 3-4 weeks ago. And I just, like I've held on dutifully, right? But again, I've lost my people, my jiu-jitsu people, and with that, all the things that we've been talking about. And I had read something about CrossFit. And again, I'm not saying I'm a CrossFitter, like I've been at this not long enough. But the point is, somebody was like, yeah, I knew I was going to get a workout. I didn't know I was going to get my closest friends. And again, I have always done specific sports. I had rowing and then I had jiu-jitsu. And I remember telling my wife, I'm like, I'm going to go down to CrossFit. She was like, what? Like, I'm going to go to CrossFit and maybe meet some people. And I'm going to do that on Monday. She was like, you don't do CrossFit? I'm like, yeah, I know, but I'm going every day. She's like, you haven't even been. Do you want to go try it first? I was like, no, I'm just going to sign up. That's it. And man, I'll be damned. You delivered. You didn't know me when I walked in. There was nothing weird about it. And almost instantaneously, I was like, oh, I get it. We're all going to go through this shit together. Like, okay, I can function in this environment. Took people were nice right out of the blocks. Jason's like, hey, don't go too fast. We got 3 rounds. We got this. I was like, okay. But it's that community, and I could see it immediately. I was like, this is a healthy community, because you have to have been on enough sports teams and in enough gyms and enough trainers and everything where you can tell. My wife had a really bad CrossFit experience when she was water polo captain at Cal. She was a tremendous athlete, still is. And she went to CrossFit when she was like 23 or 24. She went to this place in Oakland. They were mean. They were really aggressive. They were a lot of competitors, so they were really edgy. They were the black belts. She was the white belt. They were going to make her. And she was like, I don't want to get into this. And the second I came into your gym, I was like, oh, he figured it out. These are good people.
Yeah, dude. This is the thing, though. It's you. So one of the reasons why I opened my CrossFit gym, my own fitness spot, right, is because of what I experienced before. I knew I wanted to do things different. You know what I mean? The gym that I was at before, even though I met a lot of good people there, I didn't agree with a lot of things they did. And it's really similar to what your wife went through. People were cliquey. People were nice to each other.
Right.
It was just like, it's almost like if you come in, it's like we're doing you a favor for letting you come into the doors.
Yes.
It's like, why don't you? And I was a coach that I teach classes there, and I'm like, why are we doing this? This is like, we should be welcoming people to come in and start their journey. These people are coming to the door.
You should be celebrating the people who are terrible.
Exactly.
Because they're terrible and they still come back.
So when I opened my gym, I knew I wanted to do things differently, right? From keeping my place clean, because this is where I was. It wasn't really clean, but to just do things different. I want people to feel comfortable coming in. I don't even want to build a gym that had big ego, arrogant people breathe, eat, and sleep CrossFit, and I'm like, this is all I do, and don't look at me because I might lose some strength.
Don't look at me.
It's just, I wanted to have a place that it was going to be family friendly and people feel comfortable coming in, right? CrossFit as it is, it's intimidating. You Google CrossFit or go to YouTube, and the first thing you see is people doing ridiculously stuff, like just the games, right?
Like
you look
8 packs and butterfly pull-ups, and you're like, what is happening?
Dude, CrossFit is nothing like that.
Right.
You can get to that point if you wanted to, but 90% of CrossFit is just, people don't understand sometimes that the CrossFit was created and built for humans, right? We want to be more human. We want to create more health and be healthier and be able to function well. And I want to grow up old and be a grandfather, and I want to be able to play with my grandkids. That's what CrossFit is. That's how CrossFit was created. It became this huge sport and athletes and sponsorships
and showcase and the whole thing.
But that's not what CrossFit is. Not at all. You know what I mean? And the problem is that people get distracted with all the noise. You look at all that stuff, and people are quick to judge that CrossFit is bad for you, or really quick to judge that, you're wasting your time, or you're gonna get hurt, or whatever, right? But it's like everything. If you do things right, if you take your time to do things right, you're gonna be able to do it for a long time, right? A good example is gonna be like a sport, right? Look at it like basketball, for example. There's a lot of people out there that play basketball just for fun, pick up games, right? Whatever,
yeah,
right? If you play basketball to go to the NFL, you better be ready to get injured a couple times.
NBA, baby. NBA.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
It's cool. You're
That's
from
what I
Mexico.
meant.
You don't play basketball in Mexico.
We don't play anything but soccer, dude. That's all we do. But if you want to play and train to go to the NBA, right? You know that you're gonna go through struggle and you're gonna have to like train like nobody else, right? But if you come in and you want to just play basketball because you enjoy it and you want to stay in shape and you want to play basketball for a very long time, you got to slow down. You can't play like you're going to play in, you're going to go against, an NBA professional team. You can't do that, right? So same thing when you walk into a CrossFit gym. You walk in, and I'm going to start from where my fitness level is, right? The hardest part, I think, is when you walk in, and you might experience this yourself. You walk in for your first class, your second class, and you see people that have been going there for several years. And you want to keep up. You want to I really want to just add some more weight on the bar. Or I want to go a little faster, right? And that's one of the hardest parts. And I think that, and I've gone through this myself where I have a hard time with it. But that's when the coach comes in place and the coach tries to do the best they can to guide that athlete or that person on the right direction, right? Again, at the end of the day, we're not babysitters. We can't force somebody to do something, right? If I tell somebody, hey, you should just do this today with the empty bar, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna add weight. You're an adult, right? I mean, we're all adults. We take our own decisions, right? But when you go to the right gym, they're going to try to guide you the best as possible, right? They're going to tell you, hey, it's your first workout today. Sometimes it could be a lot. Don't be afraid to scale down a little bit. And then I'll come around while we warm up, and then I'm going to say, hey, Matt, how's it going, man? How you doing?
Yeah,
how's the weight feeling? How you feeling? Does that make sense? So that's what a good gym does, right? If you go to a gym where they don't...
That's the point. That's what a good gym does. That's what a good community does.
Yeah.
A good community has people saying, not just the coach, but the guy next to you, like, hey, you don't go crazy, like, get the movements right, and you seeing that person not coming from an egotistical standpoint, but like, hey, look, this is your second day, right? Like, don't hurt yourself. That's silly. Exactly. I want you to come back tomorrow, right? That's what a good gym does. Yes.
No matter what.
Ivan, listen, man. I think the thing is with you, I don't think you wanted to make a job out of starting a CrossFit gym. I think you love having a community and building a community centered around fitness. And that's how you are where you are. True or false?
It's true. 100%. 100%. I love what I do, dude. I can go back to the same thing. If I could do what I do for free, I would do it in no time. In a heartbeat.
God
any day.
Bless it, man. Listen, it's It's Saturday night. I got to let you go. It's almost 8 o'clock.
What are you talking about?
Listen.
Dude, I'm just starting here. What are you talking about?
It's almost been an hour and a half.
No, I know.
It's amazing. You've got a baby at home. You've got a wife at home. I know you don't see her that much during the week. So, listen, thank you for coming. Listen, first of many. First of many.
Of course, yeah. Thanks for having me, dude. This was awesome. I appreciate it.
This is a good time. Thanks. Again, Danville ATI, or excuse me, CrossFit ATI.
One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take advantage of this. So
Do
if
it.
anybody listen to this like for this long, if you come to the gym and you come to me and say, I know, I'll take care of you. If you walk through the door and call my phone, 925-575-1958, and you say, I know, I'll take care of you.
God bless it, man. And now you know. Thanks, Ivan.
Good to see you.